Hey, hey, hey everybody, here we are, 7:15 Wednesday night. Happy fall. Even though we haven't even officially started fall, we're here tonight for our live talk forum. We're getting back into doing our live talk forums every Wednesday at 7:15 with me, Lynn Rene MacDonald, for all of us guys here who want to learn from love and work with love for the new world. As we all know, this is the whole protocol of our show, Working with Love. And we haven't been around for a while. We have a lot to talk about. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Tonight we have Jen and Rachel and Sophia and me, like the four staples here that are usually here for our shows. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about what we've been up to. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world. We're going to talk about anything and everything that you guys can think of that you want answers to, because we're going to answer your questions as well. And I missed you guys. I hope you were doing okay and doing good. And I'm still putting on my ring. And we're a little behind because we haven't done it in so long that we've been trying to figure out and remember, how do we do this? You know, so it's been a little crazy. It's been a little crazy. Okay, so thanks everybody for coming. I see people coming on. We have questions from the past that need to be answered. What we do here is teach about love, answer your questions as well. The show is on donation. If you can donate, please do. Donation means donating energetically. It could be monetarily. It could be by coming to our shop and center, by sharing what we do, by telling people about us, by sharing our lives. Whatever way you feel in your heart called in to do from love is how you donate, okay? All right. That said, Rachel, who's here tonight? Do we have everybody here? Are we going to wait a few minutes for everybody, or what is our plan? I'm behind in all my rings and all my stuff, guys.
Right now there's Teresa and Andrea who both say that they've missed you.
Oh, hi Dee and hi Teresa. Thank you so much. I miss you guys too. It's been a long hiatus, and I'm going to talk about what I've been up to, what's going on with me. Many of you already know, what we've been up to, but it's been one hell of a road in these times. I've posted a lot of stuff on my Facebook so that everybody can get an idea of what's going on, not just with me, because what's happening to me and us is happening to everybody in the collective. So we're going to talk about that too. And if we can't, we have so much really cool, wild information and things to talk about tonight that if we can't get to everything, we are definitely gonna talk about it into the future and future shows. And thanks Teresa, and thanks Kathy, and thanks Dee, and everybody for coming. I'm sure more people will be popping up on here. It's great to be back. It's crazy, but I'm feeling well enough to do the show, and this was also a part of what was going on with me. I needed more time for more healing with what we're going through, because if any of you know that, how we've been rolling with everything, we've been poisoned by multiple poisons, and the straw that broke the camel's back for us was living in a house with massive amounts of mold. And not just a house, but we had mold in our shop, in our center, and leaks and all this crazy shit, which is why we're still doing stuff here in the main building as opposed to in our new spot, because I'm just not comfortable as we're working on healing still yet, with everything that's going on. So, as you know, we haven't been on. We've done the live shows at the oceanfront here in Virginia Beach. We have done face painting as well, and to get us out there to the people, to the children, to everybody. It's been a really great experience, but it has also been very challenging, very toxic at times, and we will tell you this whole story because there's a big backstory and a lot of shit that goes on with everything that happened this summer. But I am being guided by higher knowing not to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Not to be, I'm not at liberty to share this at this time, right? This is about learning about boundaries. All because I can say stuff doesn't mean I should, right? And it may be sometimes that it is so that maybe we shouldn't say something about it at all. Maybe in the future we'll say something about it. But there has to be a boundary of a time frame guided by higher knowing or God or love, right? For what to say, when to say, how to say, with everything that happens in our lives. Because there's so many things that combine earth world and the metaphysical, and so many toxics that can come out of it if we don't make the best choices from love. So we want to be wise with all the choices we make, right? So everybody, I want to share that with everybody because we do have a ton of wisdom to share about what went on at the ocean front, what happened behind the scenes, everything that happened with us. But the bottom line is we made through it. We honored our contract, and really that was the true blessing, is that we were always in alignment with love to do the right thing, and sometimes it was really tough. But we're going to put this over here for now, because we're not going to get into that space, because like I said, guided by God, because this is what we do and teach. Ask and you shall receive. By working with love, they guide me and tell me what I can share, what's not wise to share, and I listen. Just like all of us, I feel in my heart, and I share what I'm able to in this moment. 6 months from now, 8 months from now, a year from now, the whole backstory will come out, and maybe even before that, depending on what happens and what goes on into the future. But we're balancing so many different energies, and the key here is like the old saying, you don't want to burn your bridges, right? You want to be wiser than that in your life. All because you can doesn't mean you should. So boundaries, as you're learning, and we're all learning, right, in our lives, boundaries are knowing what to say, when to say, how to say, what not to say, as I just said. But it's also, sometimes they mean never to say anything. Sometimes they mean that you can say something 5 minutes from now. You know, you ever have somebody say, oh, it's too soon, right? If you're teasing them, or you're talking to them, or something bad happened to them, and you try to talk to them about it, or you might want to tease them about it, or just play with them about it, and they go, oh no, don't talk to me about that, it's too soon, right? That's a boundary, right? So they tell you, hey, don't talk to me about that. That's setting up a boundary, okay? So the same thing goes on here with really personal, sensitive stuff in our lives. Sometimes we cannot share the things that we want to share as quickly as possible, and in the way that is the truth of God, that we want to share them, because there's so many other dynamics going on here between bridging earth world with the metaphysical. So that said, remember that with your boundaries. Sometimes you won't be able to say things, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say all the time, truly, right? But it is not without the wisdom of all the universal law of all that is God or love, because that's going to guide you to whether you're doing the right thing or not. Right? All right. That's going to show you the way to go always. If it's up to you to make the best choice from the freedom of having that ability from love. Do you see? So this said, this gives everybody insight as to why I don't say stories and get really in depth with a lot of different stuff, because in the moment when I'm excited about it and I share it with you, it is not time for all the details, the whole backstory, and all of it, because universe, love, God is guiding me from higher knowing not to say anything about it. Okay. So this said, this is really great wisdom for everybody here. So when you think about boundaries and whether you should say something or not, especially a great example is legal cases, right? If you have a legal case out here in Earthworld, right? You don't want to reveal your hand. You don't want to talk to people you shouldn't talk about it. Remember, loose lips sink ships. So right now everything's on reserve over here with universe, and that's how we're going to keep it with that aspect of our life that we're not and have not been able to speak truly about. But we did have a great time regardless at the ocean front. We had a lot of great opportunities, and there were a lot of beautiful, amazing people that we love and that we met, and it was just fucking awesome for sure. It's a very exhausting job. I mean, by the time we get home and get to bed and get everything put away from the night job, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was a massive almost like 4 or 5 month schedule of burning the candle at both ends, and in the middle it got 4 or 5 days a week. That's a lot, right? Especially if you're any kind of under the weather with your health, right? So you have challenges like we have been having, right? But thank God we got God, because God always gets us through. Always. Love always gets us through. God, love, angels, universe, okay? As we always call it, right? So it's great to have you guys back. I see a lot more people popping up. I'm just going to ask Ray to tell me who's here for tonight, and then we're going to move into some of the other stories that we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you, everybody, for returning to our show and being part of our community, part of our love energy consciousness, and we fucking love you, and we're super grateful, and hopefully we're going to keep on going into the fall and into the winter as we have been and has done in the past for the last couple of years. We're going to continue to do that, but we are also going to get all over the country. This is the plan. This is why we were at the ocean front. This is why we have plans to go to Ocean City over the next month. This is why, we were doing all the things we're doing. This is why we do the live show. Anything out here that we're doing, whether we're doing lectures, events, shows, it's all designed by higher knowing and God with my soul contract to get out there and teach the world love, show the world a better way. Because if we all change what's happening in ourselves and share the wisdom of love, right, then we change what's happening out here. And that's the whole idea. Give people a different way to think, even if it's one thought, one small piece, right? That has the ability, like, what is it that Christ said? Something about planting a seed, I believe it is. And sometimes that's all it's about, just planting a seed. People go home and they think about it, and it sits and it grows, right? So this is really what it's all about, getting out there to change the world. So I'm really super excited about all the opportunities. And now we're going to be doing something really cool. We're doing some lectures and we're going to be doing some lectures in assisted living facilities in the area. I can't say far too much about that, but this is the plan. So we're going to have a whole theater, and we're going to roll with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And it's great because it's super important what is going on in the world with elderly people. We have a world that doesn't honor and respect, come from integrity, has lost its Capricorn ethics entirely, and especially when it comes to elderly people, right? It's like they're throwing the trash people, when really, if you look at elephants, a herd of elephants, the female elephant is the matriarch, and they follow her, they respect her, they honor her, because without her wisdom, they can't survive. Right? Because truly, this is the dynamics of all that is God, that is love. And in the earth world, there is a code of ethics here to honor and respect each other. And we get in those gross, disgusting spaces of, I'm so young, and I'm so beautiful, and I'm so this. And everybody else that's hurt or injured or sick or old, or nobody is there for them. Right? So this is a chronic epidemic, and I see it through so many people who are my clients who have been nurses, who do palliative care, people who deal with people, any kind of end of life crises, right? Anything like that. The people, they have nobody in their lives more often than not. The people who were there for them are gone. And can you imagine that? That can never feel so good for anybody, right? So these are some of the things that Universal God or Love is guiding me to share with you tonight, because it is super important for us to respect and honor the elderly, right? And so I'm going to be doing, one of the things we're going to be doing is a natural health seminar, okay? And we're going to be doing what is the other thing I'm going to be doing? Teaching people tools of love, how to live your greatest life, and the tools to do that. As you guys know, we already do all these things, right? So, that all of this said, it's super exciting, and this is what's coming. So our plan is to do this and work with people. And the other thing that comes in with this too is by working with the elderly. These are people who are crossing dimensions, multi-dimensions. They're getting ready. A lot of them are getting ready to exit out. Okay, so this is also part of that work. By getting in this beautiful energy and this amazing energy, this brings a whole new energy to the table for them to help and assist them, whether they're crossing over, they're staying, whatever crises they're going through. Our energy, or this love energy, is what does this, all right? Has the ability to do this, all right? To connect with these people and on a soul subconscious level, help them cross over into different dimensions, so to speak, or cross over from this earth world dimension to higher knowing, okay? Or to heaven, so to speak, as a lot of people know it and call it. All right, so that said, I'm super excited, and the cool thing about it is it's an assisted living home. It is, and there's multiple ones, and they're all over the country. So you can already see, God set this up. You can already see through the whole dynamics. If they're all over the country, there's a great propensity here for amazing things to happen, for us to go all over the country and work with all different forms of people, all different ways to get this energy out there. Just like I said, the elderly, and to give them tools to assist them, to honor them, to respect them. And this is one of my goals that I've always wanted to do, because nobody likes to get old, nobody wants to get old, and it is part of life, but it doesn't have to be those things. It doesn't have to, you don't have to feel those ways. And if we learn a different way, which is all in code of alignment with ethics of Capricorn here in Earth World, from love, we change everything, all right? And we have all the power to have our greatest lives as we grow older and get into elderly age, and we still can have our best health, because our best health does not get eradicated with growing old. That's such a fucking myth. It's wrong. It's fucking wrong. You don't get sick and die because you are old. You're going to love this. You become sick because you are poisoned in some way, shape, or form. The body is naturally healing. And when you choose to cross over, it is done by a soul choice. It's not you die because you're old and that's the whole story. Of course not. That is the natural progression of the soul, is as you get older, you live a certain amount of time and then you choose to exit out. But this is to enlighten everybody and let everybody know here, there's so much more going on here in the way things truly work. And in Earth World, we kind of say, well, they're getting old and this is why they're sick, or this is why they get cancer, or this is why they're not feeling good. But as you know as well as I do, there's people who die of addiction, there's people who die with mental illness, there's people who die in car accidents, there's people who die in accidents, there's people who die at all different ages, with all different sicknesses, all different unwellnesses, and every fucking thing is metaphysical. Everything in the world is metaphysical. Okay, and this said, I'm going to move on here because this is some of the things that we wanted to talk about, letting you guys know what we're doing, know what's coming, because the cool thing is, if we infiltrate, so to speak, all these assisted living homes all over the country, and wherever universe guides us, like going to the oceanfront at Ocean City, right, and doing shows there, going and doing talks and events at the assisted living places, right, all over the country. There's going to be plenty of other places and opportunities, then God is just putting them out there for us. Boom, 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 because it's time. It is time for us to change the world. It is time for us to get out there. And not just meaning us, it's time for all of our new destinies. And this is all what I'm talking about. Okay? So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. And there's going to be so many opportunities. So I'll get to see a lot of you guys in person, because I'll be in Maryland, I'll be in Pennsylvania, I'll be in San Diego, I'll be in California, I'll be wherever it is that we need to be. We'll be doing all of our things because, again, we are adapting to the new world, new ways, higher vibration of love. And that's also why I haven't been here, because I haven't been feeling 110%. So between working till 2 in the morning, by the time I get to sleep and everything, right, what is happening is, I'm physically exhausted. And so so much of this is also that, but it is also basically the mission that I have here is as a love energy prophet. I teach love. That doesn't mean that I'm Jesus. That doesn't mean that I'm the best person in the world. It doesn't mean anything like that. What it means is, this is my soul. This is my soul's mission. I came in here to teach love, and that's being a love energy prophet. And in these times, there will be so many people who are not of the purest form of love, and so many prophets and teachers and all of this coming out. You will know by what they do what is going on, who is the truth, and how it feels in your heart. And remember, always ask God, always ask love. So this is all part of our mission, right? And I've spoken of this before. But what's happening is, during this time, and the biggest reason I'm sick, believe it or not, is because universe, if you want to teach and do the things that we have asked God for, you have to be called of all your darkness and all your shit. And we're all going through it. All of us, for our soul missions, the things that we've asked God for. So my story that I'm talking about tonight, right now, is your story as well. It can't not be, because it is the story of all that is God and the collective in this dimension. At whatever vibration you are, we are all going through it. This is what's really going on, okay? And we're all being called, right? So all of my sickness and unwells is being pulled out of me, because I kept feeling, many times I came to the crossroads of feeling like I'm going to die over these last 4 years with this incredible sickness. Many, many times. It was pretty scary sometimes, right? And seeing my kid with seizures and all of that, and my whole family being sick. And as you know, we've lost 3 of our dogs over this course of this time, right? And trying to put it together and figure it out. And this was all part of my journey to bring me right here to this space tonight. All right? And this is true for everybody here with your destinies as well. We are all going through it. And I said to God, I said, what the hell? And they said to me, basically, this is like your 2 weeks in the desert. And this is for everybody, be it whether it's 2 weeks, a month, however much time that I need. This is about me being called or releasing all the energies of darkness, of toxic in me, so that I have the clearest connection to love, the clearest connection of God, clearest connection to this energy, to do the work that my soul came in here to do. Because I can't be full of shit. I cannot tell you the God's honest truth if I'm not really that guy. And this is all of us. Whatever vibration, whatever energy we're here to teach the world and do, this is who we are. right? This is who we are. So God said to me, basically, angels, God, love, all right, however you want to label it, so to speak, or identify with it. What they have said to me is that I have been sick, and basically I'm not going to die. This is the process for me personally to remove these energies in my physical body. Again, astrology, Capricorn moon, this is fucking crazy, right? It's so crazy. It's so crazy, the energy of God and how it fits in with the astrology and everything, right? So they said to me, because I was so worried about, not being sick and dying so much as my children being safe, and my children and my family and the people that I love worrying about me and if I'm going to make it or not. That was the worst thing of all, because every day I would wake up and my youngest daughter would be freaking out about if I'm okay, all night and all day. She tends to me. It's crazy because she's worried about me. And that is one of the toughest things when you don't feel well, is to see the people around you have a hard time with it. The people around you suffering, right? So I said to God, I want this to stop. I want this pain, this suffering, this whatever this is, that I have to see my kids go through this. I said, my family and the people I love, I said, let us be free of that, let us be free of that. And basically what happened is God said to me that, basically tell her that you're not going to die, you're fine. And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling fine. I'm through such incredible pain I'm going through. This is why I've been off of the show, right? And they said to me, this incredible pain that you're going through is all part of the release, because I bury, Capricorn is earth sign. I have tons of earth sign. My moon, my subconscious soul is earth. So I bury my shit in my body. It's all buried in my body. And we've talked about this, but wait, I got more. I got more for you. So what happens is they tell me not to worry, because this whole process is everything that I've asked God for. Because when I was in my 30s, I asked God to change the world from love. In my 30s, right? When I really started to get on this journey in the beginning of my 30s, right? On a conscious level, I asked God to change the world from love. And on the highest levels, in the crazy, in the most, profound way, the whole world, the whole 9-10 yards, all of it, right? From love. At a super big scale. The world, right? I asked God for that. So my whole life has been about this process in lifetimes before, right? But the issue is I have tons and tons and tons of stuff buried in me, like we all do. Layers and layers and layers of toxic beliefs, right? Everything health is metaphysical. And I can show you, I have basket of fucking pills here, tons, a whole fucking natural pharmacy of vitamins, minerals, herbs, mixtures, tinctures, you fucking name it, on the holistic medicine trail to make myself well. And I'm like, what the fuck, God? I now know so much about so many things. You couldn't believe the amount of shit I know. I can tell you what products, what does the best, and 5 of them or 10 of them to heal this, to change this, to do this, to help you with this. It's insane. But I had to go through this whole fucking process to live the wisdom in Earth World, to get Earth World wisdom of vitamins, minerals, herbs, oils, and energy work as well. Energy work, right? So, but all of these Earth World things have to be lived, in Earth World to acquire the wisdom of them. And I asked God to be the most super powerful healer I could possibly ever be. And to change the world at a profound scale, right? In my 30s, when the world was the way it used to be, right? And all this shit had to happen between the time I was 30 and now. Little did I know, right? Little did I know that what I was asking for is everything that has happened on a conscious level. Is that not who you guys are? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because we're all part of that same high-end consciousness and multiple levels and layers of it. And we came here to change the world, to work together, and both singly and together on this mission to change this world. So God said to me, you're not going to die. I said, well, why the fuck isn't everything I'm doing working for me, and yet I can heal all these fucking other people out here like boom, 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 or help them to heal? Like that. With metaphysical stuff, with the energy work I do, the psychology work I do, the astrology work I do, the holistic medicine that I do, everything that I do, I can do these things. And the quickest, easiest, fastest way with my medical intuitive gifts. God's talking to me all the time. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is wrong with me? Right? I'm like, why the hell ain't I well yet? Right? I'm like, because I'm fucking over this. I don't know if you guys know it, but I'm walking with a fucking cane, and I was in the courthouse a few weeks ago in a fucking wheelchair. Right? Why? Because I can barely fucking move. Why would that be? Because it goes back to everything, and I'm going to take you there in 1 minute, because so many of you don't even know this. Because the way I get up and get around is I ask God for everything I need. I need to work at the ocean front. I make sure I go boom, 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 and I do my spiritual work on it. Thanks God for this. I need this. How about this? Thank you for this. Clear my blocks on this. Clear this out of me. Let me do the best job I can do. Let me be the greatest at whatever it is I want to do, whatever it is I want to be. All of these things are what I ask God and talk to God and work with God all the time for, including all of this every day. Every day if I'm crying, in my sleep, talking to God, working on stuff. My soul's constantly working on this stuff. And I said, well, why the fuck can't I get well? I'm doing all this stuff. And I feel like I'm getting better, but I'm not better. And I can't walk like I could walk before. And so it's been a massive challenge. And I've been like super fucking wild. I'm like, why is this? And they said to me that this is the process of Jesus like going through the desert. Or who's one of my favorite guys that I like to talk about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Walter Russell. Yes, Walter Russell. Thank you. Walter Russell, same thing too. He disappeared. People, any high-end energies of God or love truly, a lot of times will disappear, right? Even the person who wrote the Christ book, what's the name of that book? Christ Has Risen, Speaks His Truth, right? The person who wrote that book was a channel for Christ and had to clear, heal, release all the toxic energy in them just to be able to channel Christ in his story. It's called Christ Has Risen. It's an incredible book. It's like 900 fucking pages, and it's extremely, if you think Eckhart Tolle is bigly intellectual, oh fuck, he's got nothing on Christ. Okay? Well, let me tell you, he's got nothing on Christ. So, this book is an incredible book. I'll have to find it somewhere. It's buried in so much of my shit that's like fucking everywhere since we kind of got removed from our house, you know, removed from everything that we had. It's been so chaotic, right? So that book is somewhere. But this is all part of this high-end process of God or love. If you ask God for incredible things and the work that we're going to do here in this world, because I can't be full of shit. I can't be a bullshitter, and I must speak and know the truth. The God's honest truth, right? To do this work. And I must be true to that space, and I must be authentically in my heart. And I can't have any shit blocking me or toxic stuff blocking me. And this is the normal stuff that we've been teaching you all along, right? With all the processes of everything we've been teaching and sharing our wisdom with everybody all along. And so it all fits in alignment. But what they said to me is this is the process. The reason you're not well is you are getting well, but you will be well when you have removed these patterns. When you have removed these patterns. Because again, 6 and 12, medical intuitive, right? Pisces, Virgo, Earth and all that is God, right? It's fucking insane. It's just so insane, right? When you sit down and think about it, it's incredible, right? What does that mean? It means every fucking thing is metaphysical. Everything in your health, everything in your life. So for me to get well, for me to do this work that I got to do, and get rid of all of this shit, I am being called of this. And just like Christ, or Ed what was his name? Walter Russell, going into the forest, going into the woods, disappearing for a while. Not saying that I'm Christ or that I am these people. I'm my own being, okay? Of high-end Christ consciousness, high-end God, as are you. As are you. And we all have the gifts and the tools and have called in incredible shit for the work we need to do here. We have to. Because what the fuck? Who's gonna stand up to this crazy darkness, right? We truly got to be in all of our power. Truly. And this is what this is about. I can't have subconscious patterns blocking me from the truth, blocking me from my magic, blocking me from everything that is God, so that I can't do the work that I came in here to do. Can't. So, this is all part of that process. So I have kind of been hunkering down for about a month, just going and doing minimal I've cut back on my appointments, on my classes, on everything, on sharing what I'm doing at the oceanfront, right? Because not only have I been sick, but I've been also healing, working on releasing all of these energies. It's a fascinating, fascinating story that one can only, again, live through to acquire this wisdom. All right, but here's the biggest ass kicker. So I'm upset, and I said to God, I'm sick and tired of fucking hurting. I just want this pain to go away. And I've come to this crossroads several times throughout the past 4 years with the sickness and the illnesses that I am going through. And because when you're in a lot of pain, what do? You want to fucking die. Really, that's what you want to do. You want to be like, okay, I'm packing it in, God. I'm ready to go. And I can't tell you how many times I had this heart-to-heart with God. Many times. At least 3 or 4 times. You know, in and out of the emergency rooms, and a lot of different places, doctor shit that had come to no fruition because they don't have the answer. I do. The answer is right here in me. The answer is by working with God. The answer for high-end souls, everything, you know, especially, is metaphysical. Almost 98.9% of the time, always metaphysical. Okay, there's exceptions to every rule. Everything that is God, that is love, is metaphysical. You can heal it for some time in Earth World with allopathic medicine or whatever medicine pieces they have. It's like a puzzle. You can heal it for some time in those spaces, but you cannot heal everything and anything in all its entirety until you get to the metaphysical stuff and remove that. The habits, the patterns, the beliefs, the energies that is buried in you, or somewhere in you, in the energy of all that is you. You must release that, or you cannot be free and put the best way to be from love in place of that, right? This is what I've been going through. And it's a very grueling process. It's been a very tough road, and that's why I've kind of like secluded myself. But if you think about it, Walter Russell went into the woods, supposedly, and Jesus went into the desert. And I kind of like secluded here in our shopping center and in my home, of course, to, you know, kind of go through this process. So it's been a lot. And the ass kicker that I want to share with you too, on top of all this stuff, is that I was talking to God the other day, and you know, I'm like, I come to this death space, you know, I'm sick and tired of hurting, and then I said, what more, you know, can I do? And I must have asked this 100 times, but remember, I'm doing the ancestral healing energy sessions, so I'm removing it out of those places. I'm removing it out of my astrology. I'm removing it out of everything and all the layers of my soul, because I'm working on myself 24/7 for a long ass time now, and for fucking lifetimes. So when people look at me and go, and they're in their toxic space, they go, you need to do your work, and I'm like, don't. Just fucking don't, right? And I just look at them and walk away. There's no sense in stuff like that, having this discussion with them. It's all about the place of God that you're in, right? And it doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. That's not what this is about. It's about, if you have a destiny and you ask God for something, it's about doing the work to get to those spaces. And really, more often than not, we ask God to be millionaires, but who wants to do the work to be a fucking millionaire? Who wants to do the work to have beautiful gardens and beautiful lawns and a beautiful house? Everybody says, well, what does Kim Kardashian do? She fucking pays all these people. She signed on for fucking darkness, right? So she pays everybody to do all these things for her because she don't want to fucking do the work either. Let's be honest, right? So people don't want to do the work. That's the biggest thing. People will come to me all throughout this whole process of this many years that I've been this person, this teacher, and come out to the public. People have come to me, other spiritual teachers, other really great, fantastic spiritual people. They come to me, they're like, I want to be like you. I want to do the things you do. I want to travel like you do. You go somewhere every week and you're doing this and this and this. And I want to be like you. And I'm like, really? Really? Because there's such incredible work that you must do to be in this God space, or to be in a God space that is equivalent to this. Whatever it is that you must do for your heart, that you ask God for, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. This said, that's what's been going on with me. Hey, everybody. That's the crazy shit that's been going on with me. I'm glad to be back. I am, and I had a revelation with all of that it is super important that I keep my show going. And I said, okay, God, if we're supposed to do this, then let's do it. All right. And so here we are again. And then bringing us back, when I said to God, I said, I'm doing all of this stuff. I know incredible wisdom. I said, why the fuck? What do I need to do now? What is it that I'm fucking missing? And the angels kept whispering in my ear. Over and over and over and over and over. Mercury, 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 Mercury. I'm like, and a million times over in the past 2 weeks. And I'm like, don't talk to me about Mercury. Don't do it. I'm like, right? And I know that that means that I have to do the astrological energy work on the planet Mercury in all of my placements. And you want to know why? Because Mercury is your most powerful planet. It is your master planet for fear, right? Think of it. It's Gemini. It's Virgo. It's health, right? It's Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sag, okay? And it connects those houses and everything to do with them. But the main thing about Mercury is what universe guides me to share with you, right? Which is the biggest boulder of all, is Mercury is fucking fear. Fear. Think about that. Mercury is fear, and it's Gemini. Think of double the fear, double the toxic thoughts. It is an intellectual sign. It is also your most creative of all the air signs, right? And it is a double, right? The twins are Gemini, okay? So you have double, double the fear, double the headspace toxic thinking, double that. And then if you put it in Pisces in your third house, right? If you have Pisces in your third house and you put your Chiron, your Black Moon, Lilith, your Saturn, and then in your ninth house is your other two planets, your Uranus and your Pluto, massive transformations and fuckstorm of it in Virgo, boom. There you go. Massive fear and all of these placements. And with the main energy here being Mercury. Mercury. Okay? So this is why they're saying this to me. Do all your mercurial astrological placements, look at all of those, and look at your Pisces, because Pisces is your sign of disillusionment, right? Pisces is where you're not seeing clearly. So, right? So you'd get afraid somebody's going to kill you because you read a story, and then your mind races off in Gemini in a million different directions about who could kill you, how they're going to kill you, and the ideas are infinite. And then you torture the living shit out of yourself in your mind and in your soul because you're delusional, because your Gemini house is Pisces. Like, what the fuck? Thank God Saturn's in there to help me get some grounding. All right. However, this is OCD. This is your neurosis, your neuroticness, your craziness, right? Your craziest space of mental illness is Gemini. It's the twins. It's schizophrenia. It's bipolar. And it is the major sign of all of this. Okay? All right? So, as well as, along with this comes Pisces. Your insane asylum, your disillusionment, Neptune and Mercury, Gemini and Mercury. Virgo is Mercury as well, okay? And then you have Neptune, which is Pisces, okay? And then you have Jupiter, which is Sag. Now imagine this, Sagittarius on the opposite sign. Let's blow this out of fucking proportion with Jupiter. Huge abundance of this. Now you're like a living fuckstorm of brain unwellness, right? Serious, right? With your thoughts, with your toxic thoughts, right? So when they say to me fear, here it is. Fears, right? That I was so terrified of in many lifetimes. And when I was a child, because I would say to Rachel and I would say to my family, I don't think like that anymore. I don't think like that anymore. I don't. Why? Because Capricorn is in my third house. Capricorn is my moon. And I took all the terrible fucking fear, and in my soul's magic of subconscious, we became so afraid that one day I went boom and buried it into my physical body. All the things that are so fucking painful are literally making me sick because they are all based in fear in my physical body. My physical body. Did you ever hear the saying, how does it go? Let me just say, you become immobilized by fear. That's it. That's why I can't walk. That's why I can't move. That's why I'm having a hard time. Because the universe is screaming, Mercury, Mercury, Lynn, Mercury. And I'm like, fuck, I just want to be well, And they're yelling, and I just want to walk, and I just want to move again. Like all week long, I couldn't even lift my hands to fucking fix my hair. I'm like, that's how bad it is, because this pain and this shit is no joke. And it goes and moves everywhere. That's the nature of really invasive, toxic poison. Right? It like beats the shit out of you everywhere. So this is also part of my journey to learn about the holistic medicines and what's going to be best to attack it where it's attacking me. How do I help my liver? How do I help my pancreas? How do I help my lymphatic system? My pancreas, my blood, my heart, everything, my muscles, everything that is aching or being attacked or whatever it is that is my symptoms. How do I address those as I'm going through this process for my best healing, my best nutrients, and in my overall body overall, right? All this whole process has brought me to multiple infinite placements of everything in earth world, of natural medicine, to bring all of this wisdom to everybody, right? To the world, right? To myself, okay? So I have become immobilized by fear, and that is Mercury. That is Mercury. And this is what is truly going on in me. It is the sickness of fear. And it manifests out here through poisons. Well, wouldn't being fear of being poisoned? Oh my God. That's what happened in my childhood. I would wash my hands all the time from having OCD to an incessant level, right? When my 3rd grade teacher set me off. Okay, this is really great, right? And I became so afraid that everything was poisonous. So what do you think has happened? I've literally become poisoned, and that I buried that incredible fear in my physical body. And this just came in right now. Is this insane? To share with you guys. And this is why I can't walk. You can't walk, right? Think about it. If you're totally so full of fear, you can't move. You can't do anything, like a deer in headlights, right? Yeah. Incredible, incredible stuff, isn't it? Yeah. So it is this energy, right? And I had mad OCD to the point where my parents were like, Lynn, if you don't stop this, we're going to bring you to a psychiatrist and we're going to put you in an asylum. And I was like, don't do it. And the voices in my head are like, I'm like, holy shit, I'm terrified. And that's how I got bounced out of my God space. But I totally buried instantly all of my fear in my physical body. And this is what's coming out of me now. And it must be released for me to do this work and to be well again. Now, I'm not going to say I'm never going to die, right? But I will tell you this. This is all the wisdom that universe has shared with me to share with you guys, because it really is incredible. And I kept saying, where am I missing? What is it metaphysical that I am missing, that I am missing, that I am missing? And here it is. And chunks come out on the show. They come out here. They come out here. Wherever I ask God, comes the God's honest truth of all the answers for what I must do to heal me. So now, what are we doing? We're removing placements in Mercury through the ancestral healing and the energy work that I do in our special energy sessions, like I've told you guys all about, and personal energy sessions, right? Working on my astrology and looking at the Mercury placements in my astrology, because the answers to your soul and to everything that is God and love and everything that is you are always right there. The question is, can you see them? Like Rachel told me this story, if I say it correctly, about the guy in the boat in the ocean who was drowning. And what happened is he cried out to God. He said, God, please save me. God, please save me, right? And a boat came by, and a helicopter came by, and another boat came by, and the dolphins came by and talked to him and said, we're going to save you, right? The dolphins like squeaked at him to help him, right? God sent millions and millions of different things to save this guy. And so in the end, the guy dies. And what happens is he says to God, he says, God, I cried out to you. Why didn't you save me? And God said, I sent you everything, but you didn't do anything with it. Yeah. I sent you. I did save you. I sent you this. I sent you that. I sent you this. And you didn't do anything. Is that not the story, Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that not the story for all of us? Right? Mm-hmm. So constantly talking to God in love, you're going to find those answers always. They will always come to you. They're always right there. The question is, can you see them? And now all these pieces come together from my childhood, from past lifetimes of incredible fear, immobilizing fear, Mercury placements, Pisces placements, Capricorn placements, all these things. But the massive one that universe is guiding me to be well, is Mercury, the biggest chunk. And that's your fear. It's your creative space. There's so many wonderful gifts about Mercury. But on the dark side of it, in our toxic and magical abilities of our soul, we can bury this shit in us. And that's Capricorn, Earth sign. That's also Virgo. And that's going back to Earth sign as well, as to why I would have so many endocrine issues, your digestive system, your metabolism, right? Your spleen, your pancreas, your adrenals, your liver, your gallbladder, all right? Things like diabetes. I mean, all of this stuff goes with your Virgo placements, and Cancer, the things you can't stomach, right? All right, so all of this said, this is the story of everything, just to give you a quick rundown on our show, as quick as for now, without getting every single detail and all the stuff in there, to the point of mundaneness. So, but this is the story, and so you all know that this is the process, all right? And the older the soul you are, the more shit you have to work on, the more stuff you have to remove to be your greatest you and to be your most well and to live your greatest life. It's, you have to do the work. And it is sometimes some of the most difficult stuff. And like the people who would come to me, I want to be like you. It's not very few people can do this work. It's up to you, but I can't stop you. You only, or I can't stop me. Nobody can stop me is what I'm saying. The only person that stops us is us. We don't want to do it. We don't feel like doing it. We're this. We're afraid. We're, oh my God. Clear it out. Clear it out. Ask God for the best way to be in place of that if you don't want to do it. All right? Because we are all stepping into our new destinies, and it's really happening, and it's happening on like a steam train. Anything that I want, I ask God for, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Things that I don't even know I want are there for me, right? So this is really incredible, incredible energy, the energy of love, the energy of God. So, and you have incredible gifts, and you will see all of this happen if you aren't already noticing on a personal level. And you will know that by the things that are so good that are happening, even when you're sick and miserable, just like me, God has provided me with everything I need. My youngest daughter has been a literal living saint or angel. Rachel has been too. Jennifer has been too. I mean, these people have really come to bat for me when I've been on my knees. And it's been rough shit, and and so I must say that God has provided for me through all of these people, because no matter how bad it got or could be, right, or can be in the future, right, with everything that's coming and our own personal stuff for lifetimes from the past, present, future, now, there's always been this energy of God or love that has been there for me, and it's there for all of us to work with that energy. So God is totally taking care of me. God does never not do what is best for you, or love does never not do what is best for you. Can't not happen in that way, because that's the nature of a universal law and how things work, okay? Within it, within Earth world and all that is God, that is love. So it could be a million times worse. I could have lost the shopping center. We could all be homeless. We could all be living in a tent. We could all be living in the coldest in Antarctica, in a tent, right? So with no food, no money, no nothing, and everything that I think about we've lost and that we've been through this whole fucking process, God has super taken care of us. Super. And it's all about your perspective. No matter how much suffering I'm going through, it could be way worse, all right? And I have the power all the time to clear it out, to heal it, to change it, to work with love, to do anything and everything, right? Working with love to make my greatest life. And so when I think that I can't walk, I ask God that I have the power to walk. I have the power in my muscles, that I have the strength, the balance, everything that I need to do what I need to do. Whether it's go to work at this job or speak at this lecture or go over here or do this. And I will keep on getting better as I do this work, because it's not possible to not keep getting more and more healthier as you go down this trail. Because this is the dynamics of all that is God and how things truly work. And this is for all of you with any of your struggles. You're not alone. You have all the power to ask God that it's easy, to ask love that you can get through it. And no matter what happens, you will be taken care of, and you are super protected like nobody else's business, especially now in these times. The higher you vibrate, the more you work with love, the more power you have, and it's super incredible magic. And the things that you would share or like toxic stories or things that you might might be toxic for you to share, you'll have higher knowing of what to share, when to share, and how to share, and what not to share. And just like when I talked about my experiences at the ocean front, there's a lot of stuff going on with that, right? However, it sits over here, guided by higher knowing, and the experience was ultimately a fantastic experience, not because they made it fantastic, but because I did with love. I did with love, right? And I got videos on YouTube and videos on TikTok, and the oceanfront ones, I think a lot of the oceanfront ones, not all of them because I have more ones. They're on TikTok, on our TikTok channel, to share with you how we did what we did, little clips of what we did. But there is also some really demonic shit that happened up there too. Crazy stuff, a lot of challenges in front of a lot of people from the darkness. So those are stories for the future, because I want to really get to your questions. I don't even know what time it is. So I'm going to ask Ray what time it is.
8:06.
8:06, okay. So we've been on for about 45 minutes, and so we have another 45 minutes to work with everybody. And I will be sharing those stories of the darkness and the incredible stories that I have. I actually literally have it on video. Some of the shit that you have where people are like, yeah, your God isn't my God, and you know, where people screaming out in the audience that they're better than me at what I do. I mean, and literally challenging me. And I mean, this is the shit that a lot of the stuff that I had to deal with up there. I mean, it was like a wild zone, was it not, right?
Oh,
Yeah. And I have to have the gifts to know, or the ability to know how to deal with everything. That's why I always say, I'm like, okay, God, speak through me now, please. Handle this now, please. Speak through me from love. Let me be free of this. And boom, 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 boom. It is so. Amen. So be it, right? Okay, that said, we'll have lots of stories of that. Maybe someday we'll share the video. It's kind of a tricky thing, but I will definitely be able to tell some of these stories because they're just incredible. And it's just incredible that they even could happen, right? All right, so that said, we had a great time at the ocean front for the most part, despite any challenges we had, and there were many. And so now tonight, I'd like to know, Rachel, who's here. I see a whole bunch of people. Thank you all for listening to the story. I hope that it brings you great, incredible wisdom for yourselves and your journey. And any questions you have that you want to ask me about it, please do anytime, because you don't really know what it's like to go through shit like this or anything in our lives until you literally go through it. That's why Earthworld is so fascinating. Aries, Saturn, you know, you have to go through it. You know, it's like the lottery. You got to be in it to win it, you know. Anyway, so Rachel, I want to say hi to everybody. I know I talked about getting to that place, and I didn't really. So I see everybody here. Hey, everybody else. Who else is here tonight?
We have Nikki. Mm-hmm. We have Sarah Sutra and Kathy, Lana.
Hey, guys. Great to see you all back. Thank you. Thank you.
We have Steve Giltz, we have Stephanie, and we have Molly, and we have a bunch of people saying welcome back and that they've missed you and they're so happy that you're back.
Thank you. Thank you for all those well wishes. Thank you to everybody. And Steve Giltz, I hope you're having a good vacation. It better be good enough to have missed that energy session. Just saying. You know, Steve, you know. All right, so, and thank you everybody for all the well wishes. I'm super grateful and happy to be back. For a while there, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, God, you know, but we are back. So let's move on, and I feel like now is a great time to answer everybody's question, and my goal is to be on next Wednesday night as well, at our regular time at 7:15, and all throughout the fall. If anything changes, you'll know. We'll post it up there. And we'll go from there. So, Rachel, do we have any questions of the past first? Do we have any of those where people are here?
None from people that are here tonight so far.
Okay. Is Andrew Karate here?
Not that I've seen, no.
Okay, then I'll answer his question on personal messenger. Okay, so then tonight's questions, guys. What questions you got for tonight? Jem?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd, she's having a little bit of a rough time. She lost her 20-year-old grandson in a car accident on July 27th, and she knows that he is sitting next to Jesus and is very happy. She would like you to tell her if he has anything to say to her, even if it's to relay it to someone else.
Okay. Okay, does she have his name? I know I've seen it up there. I know I've seen a lot of pics, and I see him in my mind. All right, God, what's the God's honest truth? Can you please, did she post his name up there? At least his first name?
I'm sure she'll come out with
Okay,
it.
Teresa, if you can give me his name and his birthday, if you can, that would be great. What's the God's honest truth? Can you please bring him in and let's talk to him now, please?
Bradley.
Bradley. Yeah. Okay. Was his last name, what is his last name? Summers? Was it Summers? What is his last name? Do you know, Teresa, if you could just tell us, because the Summers thing comes in. I'm not sure if that's his last name, but it comes in that he's here for a summer. So it is. He's here for a short time. That's the Summers name, a season. So this is incredible wisdom for you to know. And not that I want to harm anybody or hurt anybody with this wisdom. It's incredible wisdom for us all to know. The energy of a name tells us everything that's going on. All right. Bradley is a very different and unique name. So his soul actually knew, it's your soul always knows on a subconscious level that it is here for a season. That is also what made him such a beautiful soul. He really was a beautiful soul. He was super pure of heart. And so many times they're like what universe guides me to call earth angels. He was definitely that. He was a very, very beautiful kid in his heart. Really, really powerful in his heart space. So he comes across as being that. Let me just see. And he literally is that. But a lot of times souls that have this beautiful and incredibly amazing energy, everybody recognizes it in them, and they almost even on some level know that they're short of this world. And I feel in some ways you kind of did, because you're really super gifted and intuitive yourself. But you know, when we get in those spaces of the people that we love, we don't want to see it, you know, and understandably so, or we don't want to go in those spaces. Again, Mercury, Gemini, fear. It's that incredible fear, you know, the fear of losing somebody, the fear of I can't think about that, right? And I remember having to get out of those spaces with my daughter with her seizures, man, when they were really, really fucking bad, when this first started happening. And I thought, Jesus Christ in heaven, what if I lose my kid? I couldn't even think of it. I couldn't even think of it. So many times we push this stuff away. Okay? So this information is all coming in from God, angels, and Bradley. He wants you to know that you were a great grandmother, and he really did live a true full life. He had a lot of fun with you. He loved his family a lot. He was free, and he did what he came here to do. And don't you feel bad about it 1 minute. He did everything that he needed to do, and he was complete in the work that he did and that he bought and did here. And he wants you to know that. If he was not, he would not have left. And he just feels so good. And there's all these pictures, and a lot of this too will be seen how they love nature, how they're in nature, they're outdoors. So there's a lot of that in him. You know, I've seen some pictures of you guys, and because, you know, the purest energies, you know, is like nature, is like God, or is really not is like, but the energy of the people is like that. So they're super comfortable in nature, they're super comfortable with animals, they're super in their hearts. And this is a kid who was just in that space naturally. In that space naturally. Is there anything else that you have to question him and questions for him? And Bradley, is there anything that you want to share for Teresa's family? He says he wants his mother to know that he loves her, and he loves her a lot, and he feels that that he didn't really get to say it enough. That he didn't really get to say it enough. And he wants everybody to let go whatever animosity, unwellness they have. This is heavy shit. Around this, with everything and all the people involved, because this is something that his soul called in, and this is about past life agreements. It's never in the way that we think, and he wants everybody to know this. So, so that they can forgive. So that they can forgive and let go and truly live and be in their hearts once again. He's saying like he could, like he can, and like he is. Okay? Oh, I'm like crying. All right. He's a beautiful kid. He's just beautiful. Okay. Anything else? He's getting like, it's almost like practical. He's just saying everybody needs to rest. This was a lot, and nobody's like resting. Everybody's going 100 miles an hour, and he's saying like, my family needs to rest. This is heavy shit, what has happened here. And give yourself time to release, to heal, to rest. It's coming in. Rest is really important, and this is what he's telling me as well. And so are the angels, and the angels are around you guys all the time. And you too, Teresa, there's like huge white ones. Huge, beautiful white ones. It's like the purest white color that you could ever imagine. And when you see them, if you do see them, they will reflect in the purity, oh God, of Bradley's heart. Truly. But this really is not anything that you don't know. Nor all of us when we see and we get in these spaces. We know. We know. He's showing me some kind of necklace with some kind of beads on it too. I feel like it's a leather, but it has a bead and a space and leather and a bead and a space and leather. I feel like it's like black and it has stones on it, but this is something that he's showing me. I don't know if somebody has that, or that it was his and he gave it to somebody, or somebody in your family has it. But you should know about it, and it may come in now and it may not. He's also saying something about spaghetti and meatballs. Did you guys have like a dinner with spaghetti and meatballs, or he likes spaghetti and meatballs, or somebody here likes spaghetti and meatballs because he's bringing it up. And we're talking like big, fat meatballs, like meatloaf size meatballs. You know what I mean? Meaning not really that size, but just big ones, and thick like spaghetti, thick spaghetti, and a lot of sauce. Is the images I'm getting to share with you, to bring some pieces of Earth world that he wants to make sure you know about, to be able to better connect with him here right now and these multi-dimensions. Okay, let me just see what else comes in for him. He also wants me to tell you, I'm just trying to figure out what he's saying. Just give me a second, and what they're saying. What's the God's honest truth here? This is a medical stuff. I don't know if you got an autopsy or not, but he's telling me that his back was broken in several places. So whether anybody realizes it or not, it was. And he's telling me that he would have never been able to walk again, and this was really the best path for him, because that wouldn't have been the life that he wanted. And this is to give you some solace, and this is for you to understand. And it doesn't mean that they're necessarily, if you got an autopsy or not, you're going to see all these things. But this is what his back broken. He keeps telling me his back is broken in several places. And he's telling me this. He said it was instant. It was really instant. It was like boom, in and out. So there was no really long-term suffering. And that's what happens too. Even when we see some rough shit like lions in Africa attacking something and eating, and animals eating stuff alive and stuff, and we go, oh, and then that hits our Mercury placements again. Oh, right? We get afraid of those things. But really the soul leaves before that, before any of that. But in our people spaces, we've got, you know, excuse me, and what a horrific thing to have happened and to happen to us. But the soul, excuse me, is an incredible thing of magic. And so it chooses to exit out and remove itself from things. And so it's important that you know this, because he's telling me that it went so fast, and there was no pain and suffering and misery in the way that you're thinking. Because when he's getting out of his body, in his actual soul, this is the image the angels and him are showing me. He's saying he's there, but he's literally energetically getting out of his body, and they're showing me him getting out of his body and like being like, what the hell just happened? And it just went so fast, and it was just really quick. But so much of this is because he knew his soul's destiny prior to this. You know, he definitely knew, just like we all know our soul's mission. We know what we came here to do on some level, and there's so much going on in our subconscious, and, you know, that we're not even, a lot of people who aren't, you know, who are of Earth world in this consciousness or this dimension, but in the Earth world mainstream consciousness would never even have a clue about all these things that we're talking about, or let alone understand them and comprehend them, what we're talking about here. But you have these abilities to comprehend all of this. Okay, this is really important. All this information is really important for you. He's telling me also about bonfires and lighting fires, and being around fire. He likes fires. He liked camaraderie. He liked the smell of smoke and being outside, and he's telling me this as well. I don't know if you had any bonfires at your house. He absolutely loved outdoors, loved being in the boat, in the outdoors, in the water, everything natural. He loved, and that's because he too was pure and natural. And so his actions, everything that he did, reflects that. Okay. Is there anything else she's saying or wants to know or has a question about that I can answer?
She doesn't have any questions right now that she's putting up, but she did say that they're Italians and spaghetti and meatball was one of their favorites.
Yeah. Awesome.
She also said that she did get chills earlier when you were talking. She said that he was buried with a black cross necklace, and she got one for everybody close to him.
Okay, and did it have beads? Yeah,
I'm assuming it
it had like
some
maybe it was a rosaries or even mala beads or just beads. You know, the whole, if it has a cross on it, it's going to be some form of spiritual. Yeah. So thank you. Anything else she wants to add?
I did think it was neat that when they did find him, he had his head resting on his Bible.
Yeah. Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that in itself says hi in God, and that makes so much sense. But he got up and got out of there like fast. His soul was like, yeah, I'm out. You know, and that's great, because you don't want somebody sticking around. You know, he knows you guys are going to be all right. He knows his family ancestry is high in God or high in love. So he knows. Okay. Anything else
coming up for you, Ray? Because sometimes our technology is different.
So if we miss your question, guys, this is one of the challenges we've had with Jennifer's, page picks up one thing, Ray's stuff picks up another, and sometimes somebody's question gets missed, so please don't get upset. We're trying to figure it out always, and if you don't see it, just remind us and say, hey, did you see my question? Because sometimes Jennifer gets stuff that Ray doesn't get and vice versa, and that's why sometimes we have some challenges with that. Yeah, that's beautiful. The Bible thing, that totally reflects the space of God.
Yeah.
What that tells me is his head was in his heart. Yeah. Ooh, heavy. Right? Heavy shit. All right. Okay. And I feel like that pretty much wraps it up, Teresa. You can always ask us more, as you know, and if you want to, you can always PM me later on or down the road with any questions. You know how we roll. And many blessings and much love to you. Yeah, because we all know these spaces, and they suck. They're tough. They can really be tough spaces sometimes. All right. But you got all the power, girl. Love you. All right, so who's next?
We have Dee.
Dee! Good to see you, girl.
She's looking for a dream interpretation.
Okay, what you got?
She said a few weeks ago she had this dream that she was walking on a floating pier. Her mom was behind her, but her mom turned away and turned back. But Dee kept walking. She said there was only one handrail as support on the pier, and then she got to the edge of the water and she saw there was this massive orca. So she looked down and there was this leader orca with 8 or 9 other orcas, and she said she just kept staring at them, and then she saw the grandmother orca who she was staring at, and then she woke up. She said that at the end of the dream she was hoping to see the grandmother orca again, and she was just wondering what you get from this dream and what's going on with it.
Okay, there's a lot. We're going to pull out the pieces. What's the God's honest truth here, God, for Dee, about what's going on with this dream? Can you light some sage, Ray?
Yeah.
Please, thank you. All right. Do you need the lighter or you got it?
I got one.
All right, we're just going to clear out the energy. So, and then I'm going to ask you, as soon as we just do this saging, to pull up the first part of the dream again. And God, what's the God's honest truth about what's going on here with Dee, her dream, the best wisdom, knowledge, gifts, tools, everything to do with this from love in the purest form, with everything that is this. And thank you, love and God, for that for us. Excellent. Thank you. Sage. Here we go, guys. Here's some sage. All right, get this energy off. Ooh, clear it out. All right, Jesus, take the wheel. All right, what's the first lines in the dream?
She was walking on a floating pier with her mom, but the mom was behind her, and the mom turned back, but Dee kept walking.
Okay, she's walking on a floating pier with her mom, and the mom was behind her?
Yep.
And then the mom turned back?
Yes, and Dee kept walking.
Okay. All right, this is to do with your relationship with your mom, obviously. A floating pier, right? It's not solid. It floats, right? Floating is not real. So this is wisdom. I'm going to ask you a personal question. Is your mom watching the show with you tonight? Or are you here by yourself? Because the stuff that I'm going to say is very sensitive, okay? So I don't really want to say it, without your okay. What?
Mom is not on.
Okay. All right. And are you comfortable with me sharing what I'm going to say? Because this is about everything that you've been through, okay? So in what has gone on in your personal life. All right, so that said, the pier is floating. The pier is not solid. So your mom is walking with you, behind you, so she's coming with you, but then she stops and she turns back. So your mom is not solid in the space that she's in, and it's important that you realize this, okay? With all the dementia and health challenges Alzheimer kinds of things and health challenges and stuff that you have gone through, your mom has had a miraculous turnaround. Retrograde planets, okay? Retrograde planets revisit, redo, renew. So this is not solid in this space. It has a propensity to not be solid in this space, okay? Some 2 or 3 of the planets are now not retrograde anymore, or changing their retrograde positions, so to speak, and so their mom is not solid in this space. So while you've connected with her again like old times, enjoy it for what it is, because this will not be, this is a great propensity to not continue on, okay? You know, the energy session and the things that are going on may not come into the future, and this is all your soul telling you the truth about what's going on with you and your mom. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. Your mom picks and chooses her destiny and everything about it. So your mom decided to revisit, come in, redo these things. You know, all the health crises that you've had were things that needed to be healed and have been healed in your house with the poisons and the toxins in your house and everything that you've been through. This is everything to do with all of this. All right. So this is to let you know to enjoy this time, because you know, and make everything count. It's kind of like when my dad had his accident, and he broke his back in 3 places, and he was in a coma, and it took him, he was in a coma for a few months, and then he had to relearn how to walk, and it took him like 6 months to get better, and he was 69 years old. And I knew when he got in that accident and he came home out of the hospital with a basket full of fucking pills, I knew my time with him was short. So this is to tell you, and I knew I had to make whatever time I had with him the best that it could be. And this is for you as well. Make the best of your time with your mom, because the spaces that you're in right now have a great propensity, 57, 58 to 93% to dissipate and return back to where they were, and then get progressively worse into the new world. But your mom is all part of this, and it was part of your gifts to share with your mom, right? That's why, hold on a minute. They're telling me that's why the whales were there too. Whales are like whales represent higher knowing. It definitely behooves you to look up the spirit animal of the orca, if you have not already, of the whale. If you see the grandmother orca, again, those are the matriarchs. This is about respect. This is about honor. I'm not saying this to be any kind of nasty or unwell to your mother at all. I am saying this because it is important that you do not become delusional with what's really going on with your mom, that you can see things clearly, and that you work with God or love and continue to do so and make the best of these times. Because just like when my dad passed away and I knew that I didn't have a lot of time with him, okay, those are the gifts that this kind of thing brings to you. The ability to tell you the truth, a universe through me, because you asked for this dream analysis, tells you the truth, so you can make your best choices and make the best of the time that you do have with your mom, and whatever comes and happens. It is also here so that you don't get delusional thinking it's going to go back to the way it once was, because it has a great propensity to not. Okay, like I said, 53 to 57 to 93%. Again, it's not going into those spaces. All right, and that's why I know this is a sensitive subject. I want to speak to you freely about it. I don't want to upset anybody, but this is why I'm saying these things, because, of course, again, but your soul in this dream is actually saying this to you. Okay, so what was the next lines on this? The mother turns away, so she's not going to be walking with you for much longer. The ground is not solid in this space, and that's why the bridge is moving. That's why she's walking away. She's come with you this far. Now she's going back. Now go ahead, Rachel. Tell me the rest of the dream, please.
She feels like she's being watched, so she looks down into the water and sees a massive orca. This was the leader of the pod, and she counted 8 or 9 other orcas.
Right, and that's God watching over you. She sees a massive orca. Was it not the grandmother orca?
She didn't specifically say. She said that it was the leader orca, and then she goes on to watch the grandmother orca. So I'm not sure if that's the same orca.
Okay. But either way, this is about God watching over you. Whales are of higher knowing. I mean, if you read information about them, you'll definitely know. So they're super connected to God or love. So this is really telling you that you're going to be watched over. You're going to be fine. You have a whole family. If you look down in the water and you're at home in the water. The water is your home, D. It's been your home for lifetimes. You know this. You're scorpionic. You know this. You've been in many ocean stuff and it's your thing. And that's a good thing. But that's why it's in the dream. It's in the dream because water is life. It's emotions. It's life. The sea is Pisces. Right? The top of the sea is Cancer and the bottom is Scorpio. Okay? That's why you've done so much resting in the bottom of the sea. Right? That has to do with scorpionic energy. Okay. So the whales are there in the ocean. The ocean is the collective, the heart space of all that is God and love. So the whales are watching over you. But there's a whole family of them, which is universe or love, showing you with your heart and your soul, showing you that you have a whole family here. Whether it's on the show, whether it's your personal family and friends, right? But there is a whole family of support that you have. And like the grandmother whale is an incredible wisdom that comes with that. And you're going to be fine no matter what, no matter how long you have to walk, no matter where you have to go, and no matter how this journey goes about. But you will not be alone. You will not be alone. Okay, so Rachel, what was
the rest of the dream?
Yes.
She said she stared at the grandmother orca, who she did clarify was the main orca. They stared at each other for a while. She wished that she would see her again, and then she woke up.
Yeah. And that wishing that you would see the orca again is also part of your soul wishing that you would see your mom in these spaces again, and that it could be this way, and it could keep on being this way, right? Because it was and is still, but it's just different now. It's different. Right? And when we grieve in Earth World, so more often than not, we're grieving for those moments that we had literally in Earth World with those people, right? With the people that we love. We end up grieving for them. Because it's something that we hold forever in our hearts, but we can never recapture that exact space and that exact moment again, and that is what we grieve for. We also grieve with our illusions of what we think was or should be. We grieve from them too, or we grieve those as well. So this is the wisdom that comes in for this. Is there anything else, God, for this for day? They want me to reassure you that you're going to be fine, and God will bring you everything you need, but your soul is the powerhouse of the connection to that, which is all that is God, and it works with God and will bring all these things, all these gifts to you. So you're going to be fine no matter what. You're going to have whatever you need, and enjoy this time with your mom, because the fact that she walked here and is now walking away is your soul telling you that it is coming, okay? And that this, let me just see, thanks God for the best words for this, that this is, I don't want to say on borrowed time, but is not going to be long of this world. Okay, so feel in your heart, pray and everything. It doesn't mean it's for sure. You have the power of the energy of God or love to change and create whatever you want, but they also don't want you to be disillusioned with it, because then it's going to be a harder and more difficult time, right? Okay, and that said, that's the interpretation right now that your soul is giving you, or that we are giving you through your soul, that your soul and God and all that is love is sharing with you of your dream in the space that you are in right now. Now, next week, you can have another dream. Tomorrow, you can have another dream and add to it or change it, or there'll be more information for you. Okay? All right. Much love to you. All right. Who's next, Ray? Ray or Jen?
This is Stephanie Bard.
All right. Hey, Stephanie. Good to see you.
Funny. She says their cat that is 17 has started biting more.
Not funny, not funny.
She says we had our vet tech tell us that they can no longer take care of him when they're away, and that the cat also bit her husband as well as the vet tech's husband. And it was pretty bad when they bit the husband and left a bruise. So she's looking for any feedback that you have to offer.
What is going on? Like, has anything else changed? Just the biting, and what happened in those situations?
She does say that he's on blood pressure meds and thyroid meds.
Why is he on these meds? He's fucking 17 years old. Get him the fuck off the meds and let's do holistics. Let's do salts and all that shit if you want to do it. I mean, this is like stupid. His behavior changes because he's on the meds is what I'm feeling like, and it's not right. The meds aren't being regulated right for him. Because really, the truth is, they call themselves doctors, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing, really, when it comes to meds and all this stuff. It's virtually impossible unless they talk to God, really. So it's coming in that the meds are not really doing what they need to do. I feel that you can use salts, you can use natural medicine, we can change what we feed him. He's 17 years old. I mean, that's a long life for a cat, and I'm not saying you should put him down or give up on him or anything like that, but there's a better way than what's happening here. So now they've told you that they can't care for him, but really nobody's going to be able to care for him if he keeps biting and you keep having all these challenges, right? So really, this couldn't be more obvious that the medicines are really not what's best for him. So it's time to look for natural medicine alternatives for him. Okay, and there's plenty of stuff out there, salts and all kinds of really cool stuff. So I mean, salts meaning, the biochemical cell salts that we talk about here on the show. There's also other ways to help him and calm him down through multiple different ways. I feel you're a pretty good researcher and you can do this work yourself, but the answer is within that. Because when I get in his space, he's old. This is like the medicine is jacking with his chi. All right, so when I say his chi is jacking with his energy, there's like an energy flow that his body is used to be working on. Why does he have to be on the medicines, the blood pressure meds and the thyroid med? I mean, what the fuck? Who puts an animal on a blood pressure medicine? Unless, there's some kind of bizarre sickness that the animal has. But again, none of this really makes any sense. We are a country that over-medicates on pharmaceuticals, and we are inducted into this bullshit, both in veterinary medicine as well as allopathic medicine, or people medicine, people earth world medicine of allopathic. So I feel that the medicine is not doing him any good. And so I would give him, I would talk to me personally about more of his health challenges, unless she's put them up there as to why they put him on this medicine. But I would like to talk to you personally, more in depth about this, so I can understand that and what is going on with him. And I'll give you exactly what he needs if you want to do that route. Again, it's up to you. But this is why anybody you have in there to take care of him, he's going to bite them, and you're going to have all these challenges. Because I feel like he's strung out. I feel like these medicines are making him like stress out, like almost like a mind racing and uncomfort. Yeah, he feels like just discombobulated, and out of whack, and that would make sense. It's a thyroid medicine and the blood pressure medicine, so that would really do make sense. And God's honest truth here, God. Yeah, and they just said everything that I said is right on, but I'd like to talk to you more in depth. We can do it on, when we talk in the future. And if you have more of these answers right here, we can talk about it here now too as well. But that's what's coming in. You got to take a look at those meds, but you're a super gifted healer. You can research stuff and you can do all this yourself. I'm sure of it. However, if you would like more guidance and wisdom with your cat, for your cat's health care, then by all means you can PM me and we can set up an appointment and you can talk to me more in depth about it. But right now, that's what's coming in. Either his medicine needs to be adjusted or he has to get off of this medicine. I'm not big on the fact that he's on this medicine, but I would like to know more of what's going on with his health issues as to why he's on this medicine. And we'll go from there to get the best solutions with natural medicine and all of his symptoms, like we would do for any other person or dog or pet that we have. Okay, so there is your answer. You can do all of this yourself, but the very first step is I would talk to my doctor about weaning him off of those meds. All right, because anybody else you get in there, he's going to bite because he's just not happy. Doesn't matter who it is. The not happy is in here, you know. Okay, so there is your answer, girl. I'll put that out there to you.
She says she appreciates the feedback and she will message you.
Okay, got it. Thanks. All right. Who's next? How many more questions we got?
I actually think we're finished with the online questions, unless you see other ones, Jen.
I have a Nikki.
You have Nikki? Okay.
Okay. Well, what time we at?
8:40.
Okay, so we got about five, guys. 5 more minutes. All right. So we got one more question, Nikki's.
Yeah.
Unless, as long as it isn't, if it takes up the whole 5 minutes, then it might be the last question. Okay, go ahead. All right.
Nikki says, death has been coming in for a few days. Yesterday, a YouTube short of a spokesman of some sort was at a news conference. He was late to the conference because his family was in a car accident. His wife passed, son is in a coma, and his daughter lost her leg.
And he went to work?
I guess.
He was late for a news conference and all of that happened? Who the fuck would even show up? Who would show up to work with that? I mean, that in itself is fucking nuts, right? I'd be like freaking the fuck out. Sorry, can't make it for you. You know? Oh my God, that's crazy.
So she goes
if
on,
that is truly the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So she goes on to say, today I was listening to one of my regular podcasts and one of the speaker's grandfathers died in the middle of the live. He died of cancer. She says, both of these men continued with their duties and maintained their composure despite their pain. Things come in threes. Am I being warned?
That is so, again, this is so bizarre. You know, it's just crazy. I feel like so much of this has to do with the darkness in the shot, you know, where people aren't making the right choices, the right decisions. They're, you know, and then again, people are dying. So so her question is, she's seen all this stuff, and then what is it? She said, is she doomed, or is
she being warned? So is it a message for her?
Well, everything is always a message. The question is, how does this pertain, and what is the message? Instantly, with death and dying, we think, oh, it's somebody's going to die in our family. You know, that's all based in Mercury, right? A lot of that is all mercurial fears, right? Who's going to die? It's going to be my mother. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be my father? Oh my God, who's going to die? But really, it could be death, dying, and transformation. It could be more Plutonian than Capricornian. So what that means is more Plutonian is transformation. Okay, so I do feel there's messages in here on multiple different levels, and some of the biggest ones are that what I just said is about the COVID shot, and how people are reacting in less than heart spaces. They don't know how to react. They're out of touch with their space and out of alignment with their heart space, their hearts. Okay, this is so much of that. Also, we're going to see a lot more death and dying and bizarreness like this. I mean, I think, Nikki, you sent me that video of the sportscaster that all of a sudden fell over in the middle of talking. God. That was like horrific. Yeah. And really, they've murdered people. That's really the truth here. They've murdered hundreds of people, you know, and as I've discovered, you know, it's not death that is the demon here. It's the suffering. It's the suffering. Right? It's one thing, you know, I mean, it both, you know, it's like saying 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Both things are rough shit if you think about to murder somebody, right? Or to kill somebody and to kill all these people. Absolutely, it's horrific. Absolutely. Right? And but then not only are they killing all these people, but there's such incredible suffering on top of that. It's like, how much is enough in this world? How much? You know, and now they're going to do another pandemic, bunch of bullshit coming. Oh, and it's coming. You know, so just be aware. And we'll probably talk about that in another segment like next week, because it's coming for the fall, and I don't have to tell you guys, it's all over the place. But I do have some things to say about it, guided by higher knowing or God, that have come in for me to share with you and for all of us, in terms of, you know, what the next COVID epidemic, so to speak, as Bill Gates says, right? Because he just happens to know that it's coming. You know? You know, it's Bill Gates. Doesn't he not fucking know everything? Because he's just brilliant. He's elitist. It's amazing. All right. So, all right. Put the sarcasm aside. Move on for me. Okay, God. So I feel like all of this is interwrapped in coming and what's coming, and for you to know and see. I do feel like you are going through massive death and dying and transformation in terms of internally. We all are. we are no longer those same people. So these people are not the same people, and they're not, and their families are going to be changing, and their lives are going to be changing, as are you and as are yours. At this time, I don't feel any death hardcore coming for you and your family or anything like that. I feel like there will be other deaths that will be kind of like the outer circle and people you know, or hearing them through other people. A lot of this will come in with Mars and Pluto and Saturnian placements in our astrology. I feel like this is all part of that. But I don't feel like it's a direct hit at all. I don't. I feel like it's more all of these things that are going on in great transformation and great changes. Everything in Earth world will reflect metaphysically and vice versa. It can't not. Just like, me being immobilized by fear, I can't walk or I can't move because I'm in such great pain because of the fear that's buried in me. Crazy shit, right? But, that's not something you would just put together in the drop of a dime and think naturally in Earth world. Instead, you'd be like, well, why can't you work? What are the Earth world? Why can't you walk or why can't you move? What are the Earth world reasons for this? Oh, you're sick, you have this, you have that, and, and all their explain away shit, right? The truth of God is everything is so much more infinite and diverse and complex, but the message is always there, and you have to pull it apart. So this is the biggest chunk I get right now from the stream for you and for everybody, really, because this is wisdom for all of us about the collective, about all this crazy stuff. And when I get in these places, even when I feel like your mother's energy or Amelia's energy or Nicholas's energy, it feels that you're doing the work, and it doesn't feel like anything rough is coming at this time. Okay? And so it would be at this time is a small percentage. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And then remember, the fear itself would create it. So if you get in those spaces, then you're going to bring it to the forefront. You can't not, So, that's how it works, right? Okay, so all of this said, what else do we got? Is that good? Is Nikki good?
Well, I thought Nikki made a comment. She said the spokesperson guy said that the country doesn't stop because he's in agony. He wanted to get it done and over with so he could get to the hospital. I thought that was crazy.
Why wouldn't you say, hey, I have an emergency here right now. Right. I'm really sorry. I have to be with my family. Everybody on the fucking planet who gives a shit and is in their heart space, any kind of love energy space would understand that, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to say, hey, I'm sorry. I have to go, and I'll explain later, and thanks for your understanding.
Yeah.
There's a way to handle things and there's not, and that's what this is all about, Yeah. The whole world of dynamics is all about love, and the whole world dynamics is all about love. And so, yeah, this is all the craziness going on. Get ready, because there's going to be plenty more, plenty more crazy. Okay, so she good? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.
8:48.
It's 8:48, guys. We're going to check out on this note. Thank you all for coming. If you can donate to share with us share with the world what we do. The more we work together from love, the more we change it. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 7:15 as usual. And bring your questions. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more stories and wisdom to share from the past of the summer and everything that's going on, and the wisdom about the new COVID stuff with Bill Gates and all that stuff, and what they're saying in the New World Order and everything going on. So bring your questions. See you next week. And I love you guys, and thanks. Thanks so much. You got it, Soph?
Yep.